Welcome back. I'm Mr. Rankin. Today in International 110, we're going to talk about Chapter 4, how to leverage some of these resources. So let's go down some of the key learning objectives and make sure we understand. And if we don't, there's my email address. Send me an email address. If you need to talk to me one-on-one, we can set up an appointment at my office at your convenience. So first of all, it talks about two types of resources. There's tangible resources that are easily observable or easily quantifiable. So if you're a college grad looking for your first new job and I'm an employer, like your grade point average would be a tangible asset particularly if it's good. I can measure it. I know exactly what it is. An intangible resource is a little harder to observe. So in the interview process, that would be, trying to gauge your level of interest or your heart or how dedicated a worker you are. So tangible asset would be something like your grade point average or the degree you got. Very observable, very measurable. Little intangible assets would be, well, how hard is this person to work? A little harder to observe. So then we talk about how value in a business is created, and there's what's called a value chain. So each step in the process should add some sort of value to the product or the service. And if it doesn't add value, then frankly, you probably should eliminate the activity and save the cost of the activity. So there's a lot of analysis that goes through looking at the value chain of an organization to make sure that every single step is adding value to the product or the service. Most products or services begin with some sort of input, perhaps some research and development, perhaps some assembly, putting the parts together or the services together, bundling them, marketing the service, and the output, what the actual service or product was. If you think of an automobile manufacturer, they start with raw materials, aluminum, tires. They do some research and development on what type of car a person wants. They put that car together, they market it, and they have an output. Now, once we've looked at the value chain, we can make a determination. Sometimes it makes sense to do it in-house, in other words, do it ourselves. And sometimes let someone else who specializes in that do it. For example, I might take my car for oil changes to Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube does millions of oil changes every year. It's easier, more cost-effective for me to spend my time on something other than changing the oil. So I let Jiffy Lube do it. Excuse me. So, a couple of ways to analyze what should be done in-house, what should be outsourced. First of all, you look at the industry. Is it specific to the industry or is it very common to the industry? The more common it is, the more susceptible it is to outsourcing. What about the product? Is it commoditized? In other words, everybody makes it, or is it very proprietary, like a chip that only I own the patent to? And the more commoditized, the more likely it is to be outsourced. So highly proprietary and highly industry specific are going to be things done in-house. In highly commoditized, in industry common, are going to be potential activities for outsourcing. The last thing they talk about is, well, how do I value or measure the value of my resources? 4 things that the book talks about you look at. First of all, you look at how valuable it is. Then you look at how rare it is. Can it be imitated? And you have some sort of organization around it. If you have these 4, you have a very valuable resource. And one of the things businesses try to do in the VIRO framework is to figure out ways to improve this over time. Hope that helps. It's Mr. Rankin. Any questions on Chapter 4? Send me an email. Have a good week.